country.
Speaking about the economy and speaking about, handling of the economy and everything else, let's just go into the first story. Government drops VAT on electricity, set to engage IMF on revenue shortfall. I want to tie that in to Guta kicking against VAT on electricity and emissions levy, okay? And then let me just tie that in together with the MPP National Executive's fallout with the Akufo-Addo government as they reject Oforiatta's unpopular emissions levy and VAT on electricity. So there's a number of, angles to all of this, but the basic point is that government has dropped it because it's unpopular. Even though it went through cabinet, they've gone through parliament, they've retracted, all right? And now they are looking to negotiate with IMF on what they're clearly seeing that is going to be a shortfall. Let me start with you on this.
Yes, my brother. Sorry, viewers, let me say a very good morning to you once again. I think my brother Kofi Bento dragged us through the wings very early, so let me apologize and say a very good morning to everyone. Kofi, I think, I say Kofi, Kweku. I think what has happened is a clear testament of what Dr. Bawumia can do. It's a bit funny. You see, when a government is bringing a policy, the policy is developed, the finance ministry will set up the policy, take it to our EMT, the economic management meeting, the economic management committee will clear the policy, then it goes to cabinet. Cabinet clears the policy, then it goes to parliament, especially when it involves taxes. Because the law says it's only parliament that can pass a tax law.
Yes.
Now, this emission levy and VAT on electricity have gone through all these processes.
Yes.
Today, we have national executives of the ruling government, of the ruling party, on TV, on radio, telling us that they disagree with that taxes.
Isn't that a good thing, though? Isn't that a positive sign?
It is a positive sign, but it also tells you the huge disconnect between the government and the party. And the disrespectful manner President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia has run this country in the last 7 years. They don't respect anybody to the extent that even when they are bringing things that will affect we the citizens directly, they fail to do consultation. What consultation did they do on this emission tax, on this VAT on electricity before they decided to introduce it in the budget? Who did they speak with? Who?
Yeah, but, Mensa, when you say that, then the question comes that, but Parliament passed it. Parliament represents the people. And if the people sat in Parliament...
Legislation cannot replace consultation.
No, but legislation...
You know the time we do consultation?
The legislators represent the people.
No.
So they are there voting on behalf of the people.
Don't mix it, please. Please. When bills go through Parliament, Parliament is there to look at it from different angles. The job of Parliament is legislation. And so when you take a bill
and representation,
but their job is legislation. That's the core.
They have 4 core jobs, and one of them is representation.
The core duty, the representation does legislation. The core work of Parliament is legislation. They are called legislature. Their core duty is legislation. So if you take a policy or a bill to Parliament, Parliament looks at it from a legislative angle. But that does not replace consultation. You, the person introducing the bill or the policy, has a duty to consult, to do stakeholder engagement, and to ensure that the people who the bill or the policy is going to directly affect make input, that all concerns are addressed. So this is how President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia has lived with us for the last 7 years. You wake up one day and they introduce any tax. They go, they dream in their sleep, and they see somebody driving an old car, and some fume comes from the back of the car. They wake up, beat him. Baumia will call Kenofriata emission tax. Let's go and take them. That's how they've been running this country. That is how they have been running this country.
Yeah, but that's an unfair.
What is unfair, my brother?
Because we know that we went to go and sign up to the Paris Accord, and this is part of the arrangement.
That is a
you know this,
my brother. That is a vivid description of how this country has been governed in the last 7 years. People sleep and have dreams, and in the dream they see somebody driving a car with smoke at the back. So he wakes up, he calls somebody at the finance ministry here. So
the Paris Accord was also a dream.
My brother, is Ghana the only country that have signed on to the Paris Accord? Even in the UK, the Paris Clubs countries, who are spearheading this Paris Accord, do you know how they charge emission tax? In the UK, they have dedicated emission zones where if you drive a car, that place, they've dedicated this area. If it is Citi FM area here, they've dedicated this place as a high emission zone. Okay. Oh, sorry, a low emission zone. So if you are driving a car a smoky car, you can't drive it that area. If you drive it in that area, they will record you and then they will bail you. It is not everybody that pays emission tax, even in the Paris Accord countries. And that is why I'm saying that if they had consulted, if they had done engagements with civil society, with stakeholders, we would have pointed out all these models to them, and then they would have sat down and then come up with a proper policy that is peculiar to the system that we have. But because they don't respect us, they don't think we have anything to offer, they think they are the most smartest and intelligent people, and every Ghanaian is stupid. To the extent that if we, the people who are coming to collect the tax from us, you are introducing a tax, you don't want to inform us, you don't want to engage with us.
But I don't understand when you say that. I don't understand it because it went through Parliament. Parliament has committees. They will discuss all these things.
Everything goes to Parliament.
Yes. They will discuss all these things first.
The only reason why they took it to Parliament is because the law says they can't pass a tax law without Parliament. If they could do this without going to Parliament, they would have done it. Haven't you done it? Haven't they done things? Even things that are supposed to go to Parliament, some of them, they don't take it. That is how Dr. Bawumia Akufo-Addo has run this country. And my brother Kofi Bentil says,
no, but you're shooting yourself in the foot because you say there are some things they didn't take to Parliament, which they could easily have avoided Parliament.
I'm not holding
and they decided to go.
I'm not holding a gun this morning, please. I'm not shooting anything. The point I'm making is that this is how Dr. Bawumia and President Akufo-Addo has run this country. They don't respect anybody. They think we are, and he says he's coming to speak. What is Dr. Bawumia? Let me make this point. It's very, very important. He should come and tell us in his address why they decide to introduce an emission levy in a country where we don't even have a developed electric car system, which is what the promoters of this whole emission levy seeks to do. Why we don't have all those mechanisms that allow us to achieve that kind of zero emission or low emission, but they still decided to come and hound on us an emission tax. They should come and tell us why in a country where in the same year you've increased VAT by 2.5%, which is a consumption tax, which is already driving your inflation now, and still decide that you are going to put VAT.
Please wrap it up for me.
On power, on electricity, which is a key component in production, which is going to drive prices of goods and services.
Yeah, but they've dropped it now. But they've dropped it.
It's not about dropping it.
It's about dropping it. It's about where we are.
What thinking went into it? Did you need TUC? Did you need labor? Do you need civil society? Do you need Ghanaians to come and tell you that this thing that you are bringing was bad? Why didn't you consult?
You are the same person saying they should have consulted.
Why did they consult? Because if they had consulted, they wouldn't have introduced that. That is why I'm telling you.
Well, they say they are listening government, so they've heard it and then they've dropped it.
They don't respect us. So now Dr. Bawumia,
wrap it up for me, please,
has gone to beg them to withdraw VAT on electricity. Dr. Bawumia, so you can get things done in this country. so you can get things done.
Thank
My
you
brother,
very
please,
much.
please don't cut me. It's very important. Let me send a message to the Vice President. Dr. Baumia, so when this government is doing something that is wrong, so you can actually intervene. And we haven't heard anything of you.
Okay, thank you.
In all the mess that have been perpetrated in this country in the last 7 years, Dr. Baumia, so you can actually get government to stop things it is doing.
All right, thank you very much.
And we haven't heard. Now, election year, you are beginning to intervene. Now we are beginning to see you, Dr. Baumia.
Kabutey.
Okay, we are waiting for you.
Well, I'm happy that government has dropped VAT on electricity tariffs, because some of us thought, look, if you looked at, especially when they went to an area where we saw the monies. What am I saying? If it had been maybe any other area where we didn't have issues, we would have sat back, maybe confused. But we are not confused about electricity. Especially, look, it's a matter of not collecting what you have to collect. And I'm sure the IMF team had information from the same Ghanaians, I mean professionals and technical people, that look, electricity is an area where, you know, it's a need. You need it to survive. You know, sometimes when we talk about electricity, people think, oh, yeah, for employment purposes, people look at it's you used to run your machines. It's a life-saving tool.
Yeah.
You need it to survive. Some people actually put their drugs in refrigerators. You know,
yeah.
And some people run on concentrators.
Speaking about that, actually, there's some people, the Rotary Club of Ghana are putting up solar run fridges in deprived areas where they don't have any electricity.
Exactly.
You know, because vaccines need refrigeration.
So when you talk about some of these things about electricity, I mean, people, some myopic think tanks are thinking like, look, it's about fridge in your room and it's about electricity to watch television.
And what's wrong with that?
Respectfully, you know, that's the next level. You know, to the village, I mean, where I go to my village and there's no electricity, I can survive. For them, some of them, that's what they analyze. I mean, we're living without electricity in our villages, we didn't die. Look, to the next level, you need to charge your phones.
Yeah.
And this phone is a health tool. If I need some drugs, my pharmacist friend can give me drugs through the phone. It's a health line. It is a security line.
Yeah.
I need to call the police when there's an emergency, call fire service when there's an emergency. It's a security line. So, you know, electricity is so key in the middle of our life.
Not to cut you, but we actually have a report from a village called Anan.
Right.
In the Utu area. And they've not had electricity this entire, it's just not far away from here.
Right.
You know, and there's no electricity.
That's how painful it can be when you're very close to it.
They're
You don't
very
get
upset
it.
because they said that they can actually look across and see the next down has electricity. This one has electricity.
How bad it
And it's
is.
just
How
them,
bad
they
it
don't have
is. So you look at it and you're like, you're coming to put VAT on electricity. You're going to further stretch people. And you know, when they gave the cut line that, look, persons consuming less than 50 or 50 Ghana cedis below, I was laughing because majority of the people they are trying to reach out to serve this purpose run their support to get access to electricity through their landlord's meter. So you have a meter where about 10 or 15 people
put it their power.
You know, so their consumption powers are above the 50 Ghana.
Yeah.
And so they are also affected. We raise all these issues. I'm sure government sat back and then they realized that, look, this is a time for them to actually focus on the tax handles that are available and the collection. Even in the electricity sector, the issues have been that, look, let's stay on electricity. Government should rather halt the power theft.
Yeah.
And when we say power theft, it's not only maybe people who are in the hardship that steal power. There are rich people who have run their electricity such that they pay some normally through their normal line, and then they run some of their ACs and things through the other side of the line. And there are ECG staff who condone with them. And I'm sure they know. They know them. They have arrested a few of them. They have punished them. But that's the problem. So focus on that area. They look at improving the collection. Look, let people pay the electricity bill. Some factories are owing huge amounts of money.
Yeah.
You know, when they mention it, I mean, you go like 10 million, 5 million, 6 million Ghana cedis, 3 million Ghana cedis. I'm like, and you are chasing, you know, the small dogs. You have to chase them anyway. I'm not holding brief for them. But look at 6 million Ghana cedis. That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
chase those ones as well.
Get disconnected.
You know, so, and then look, the corruption is also among their staff. They should check it. We're all in this country. When some meters were imported and they didn't work. We know about all these thefts. I mean, that goes on. Their staff is also involved. Now let's go back to the tax arena. I mean, government should, focus on collecting the revenues, property rates, rent taxes. And then the argument starts like, were you the one who built the building for them? Do you know what people are spending to build the building? For Christ's sake, with all due respect to our brothers and sisters who are in the construction industry, we know how much it costs you. But you know what? Value chain analysis should tell you that Kayayo, that their lampo is standing on her head this morning, equally feels same. I mean, how much do they earn?
Yeah.
If we had a better system in this country, Kayaye should be left off the hook.
Yeah. No, but I think it's a very, strange argument that people should make to say that, did you build my house for me that you're coming to?
Ironically, that's what they say.
Then don't build it. Because the law, we have laws that says everybody who
Why would
owns
you
property
blame them?
should.
The rent control office. When have you heard about them? Why would you blame these persons who blow that wrong air into the air? Because the rent control office, in all this discussion, where are they? We keep saying that, look, people are building edifices and they realize that, look, it's the best arena to invest your money. Because nobody controls the prices. The next building is a 2-bedroom apartment with a fan and an AC, and they tell you AC and they have what? They have Andre. So they're charging 4,000, 3,000 cedis. That is what we are talking about. And charge it. When you tell them go and collect, they say the landlords will connive with the tenants. Let them go ahead. In another part of the world I'll mention again. What they do is that they'll get another man like Mr. Thompson to dress well, yourself and myself. We go there and go and rent. And then they give it to us at 3,000 cedis. Meanwhile, on government book, they've actually accounted for, let's just say, 1,000 or 1,200. That's it. Golden egg for us. You calculate, in fact, from the first day a person entered their building and let them pay at the rate of 3,000. Punitive measures. People will stop. Look, cut expenditure. We have said it over and over again. The reason why, I'm sure the IMF officials, if they are still in this country and the people they left behind, I'm sure they are laughing. I am so sure that the IMF is laughing at Ghana because they are looking at you. Imagine you came to borrow money from me and I gave you 1,000 cedis. I have millions. I'm sitting here. In the morning, I eat from maybe across the street. I buy the cocoa over there. And I see you walking into this the hotel over here to go and eat when I borrowed you money. That's what they are looking at us. You are driving all the huge Land Cruisers and you go back and you go back for the loan.
A quick comment on the party MPP kicking against government. Just a quick comment.
That's one quick one that people should note. That look, a party system. I've always been trying to explain to people that the party has its own structures, and then I'm sure the government team also, But when it comes to individual views, I'm sure the kicking against it is a good point. And you see, when you score the point, personally, who am I, son of a poor bamboo seller, to come and judge and say you did it wrong? You did it right. You see, even husbands and wives disagree on issues. Fathers and their children disagree on issues. Sometimes it's only good to agree to disagree on something. And I'm sure the party's position is good because they are listening. They have members who, my brother, their members are going to be paying the light bills with us.
Yeah.
They have members. And their members will go to the fuel pump stations. They have members. Their members will go and pay electricity and water bill.
I've heard social media commentary that it will hurt the Baumia ticket if this went through. And so that's why the party is trying to protect.
Well, I would think that maybe they will have their political discussion around it. But on the face of the matter, clearly you could see that there was a general upheaval.
Yeah.
People were like, look, and I've said it, the technical point is that Ghana is tax sufficient. So once you get to that level, any other tax you come and add on. Yeah. If you say you're coming to add another tax, a tax, and then the next morning we are all going to have access to breakfast, and then afternoon we have lunch. People will still tell you, look, you know what? Let me buy my own food. Yeah. Just don't add any other tax. The next thing is to look at the corruption. Yeah. Look at the corruption index that was launched recently by the Ghana Initiative, Integrity Initiative. I was there, and I was telling them, look, you know what? They're trying to fight the issue of perceptions. That look, it's a perception. And I told them, look, you know what? As a bias researcher who goes really for now the issues of mind game, I am a qualitative bias researcher. I believe everything starts with your perception. Look, it takes me to see one man stealing the phone. Yeah. It's how I perceive it, that it's a wrong act for me to blow the alarm. If I am also corrupt, I will see it as normal.
Yeah.
And that's why perceptions are so powerful. So you look, government and all state officials.
I want you to
focus on what
continue.
you are doing with catching up.
I want you to
with corruption.
continue on this aspect of the corruption when we come back from this break, okay?
Right.
And the show is interactive, and we'd like to hear from you. Just send us a WhatsApp message for us to hear what you're thinking. It's 0204-447033. That's the WhatsApp line. And the hashtag is Breakfast Daily on all social media platforms. We're having a conversation right now about the VAT and emissions. VAT on electricity and emissions levy. And Kabutey Ocansey was making a submission regarding the corruption aspect of things. Yes.
Yeah, so if you do not stop cutting down, if you don't cut down expenditure, if you don't stop corruption, if you don't actually fight corruption, don't let corruption and the people perpetrating it fight people. We sat down and watched Domelevo. What was the Domelevo's crime? Domelevo was only surcharging people who are taking advantage of our monies. Okay, so look.
As the law says it
yes,
should.
Yes. And at that forum when we were at the corruption index, I mean, the officials were saying perceptions could actually affect people. Then I said, you know what? Let officialdom and the state systems use the powers given them to investigate and catch up with people. The last one we as citizens we have is our perceptions. If we perceive, look, the self-concept states clearly. What people think you are is what high extent you are. So, I mean, about the self-concept, what we perceive you are is what we think you are. You need to explain to us, if you are transparent enough, you are accountable enough, we won't perceive that you are corrupt. What we see is what we believe.
Okay.
Now, the next thing is to reduce waste. Look at supplement. It's still sitting there.
Yeah.
We've borrowed money to build those flats over there. And they are there accruing interest for us to go and pay. This is a waste. I mean, how do you go and accrue debt on something that should have brought us some relief and money? Now you also look at recouping the losses. Some of us are not only interested in reading from the Auditor General's report that some people have stolen our money or taken advantage of our monies. We need to recoup it.
Yeah.
There are people who have taken advantage of our state funds. They have buildings, they have cars. They are walking around. Seize their properties. Let's sell it. That is when I'll feel okay. Then finally, look, let's improve consultations. Like Mensa was saying earlier on. I mean, earlier on he mentioned clearly, I mean, if you don't engage with the people, the experts, the person is going to pay the taxes. This is where we'll get to. It happened with e-levy. You remember? There were no engagements. When the upheaval started, that was when they started the town hall meetings. I don't know one thing, respectfully to all my politicians friends, I think politicians don't learn. Just a few months ago, e-levy suffered the same.
Yeah. And
then you are coming to do this one. You did town hall meetings. What did you learn from the effects of the town hall meetings? Didn't you know anything about development communication? That if you actually communicate to the people, they'll come out and support it. Yeah. So I think, look, first, the emissions taxes, the VAT on electricity, they should sit back with it, and then they should move with gross alacrity into the areas I've mentioned. Rent taxes, night and dawn economy, property rates. These are options. These are legal options for them to go and collect the money. We need revenue, yes, but go and explore the available tax handles to the fullest.
All right, let's make progress.
Let me just add a little, just a minute. You see, in the 2024 budget, total tax exemptions that have been given to chronic companies alone, 12.5 billion Ghana cedis of tax incentives.
You said what kind of companies?
Chronic companies.
Well, what are those?
You don't know chronic companies? Do you think if you're not a chronic company, you can get a tax holiday? The tax incentive they are giving to people building hotels in this country. Ghana is the only country where tax incentives are given to people building hotels and people importing agricultural, products, and people engaged in agriculture are paying huge forms of taxes at customs. And people building hotels are being given, and chronic companies, 12.5 billion. You give 12.5 billion to your cronies, and then you want to come and charge us, how do you call it, emission tax.
All right, thank you. Let's make
So
progress.
what else do you want to tax our breath too?
Let's make progress.
Eh?